of improvement in the cemetery, please let me know. In that, I'm going to kind of jump around just a little bit. Section 29 back by the lake, the retaining wall was put in. There was another phase to that wall. Being I cannot do my cold storage this year, we went ahead and continued that, so we finished that project here about a week ago. So grass is growing, and so we're going to have to do some asphalting. Outside 29, we do have a stormwater drain. I'm trying to get somebody to directionally bore for me. So far, no luck. Pete's been real busy. Put a call out to Dairy Electric to see if they can bore for me. They said they do some boring to get a drain line to head down to Pike Lake. It's draining, but not real well. It's old and collapsing. But we'll have to go under the vault in the hill, which we have plenty of fall to do that. That's not a big deal. So between that and asphalting, so whatever left, you have to come out. So it turned out really nice. We left some of the old stuff in there. There was old stairways and stuff, so we left those in there just for that integrity and that look. Like I say, I'll have to come out. It turned out really, really nice. We have a few more projects, probably not this year. In the perm account, we've been, Lynn and I have been investing and doing some stuff with us, the money, and we don't want to drain that completely for next year, so we may be holding off. The only thing I know that's going to be coming out of perm is I have to buy new flagpoles. The ones currently I have are not real expensive ones, and they've been bending in this wind. So we're going to have to pay up and get some that'll take 120 mile an hour wind and won't bend. The thing is, with this board, I guess, okay, 5 is what I need. I've not really got any word on the Space Force, if they're taking it away, going to leave it or what. So that I'm going to buy 6 poles because if that stays, and I'll have to fly that right before the, what is it, National Guard flag. I know the order, but I'll have to put another one in. So I may just put in 6 and we'll fly it and we'll let go from there. There's just been rumors that they're going to take it away, but I've not heard. So they have their own flag, so we're going to go ahead and fly it. I'm going to go ahead and do it. What that means financially is each pole is about $700 some dollars to put in. So I'm going to go ahead and spend the money on it because I'd rather do it now than later. Part of one of the projects we have is just put stone around those flags. We're going to make that a little nicer area here the next year or so. Instead of just a flag sticking in a little bit of concrete around the grass, we're going to just kind of make Legion 3 look a little nicer with some stuff. So that's kind of the game plan there. The other little stone project we have is the office block around the office is deteriorating, and so we're going to have to put new around there eventually. The block are just starting to go bad on me, so that'll probably be next year also. With that, we do have an unfinished business, which is kind of cool. We'll get this taken care of. We've all talked about this commingling. I don't think I need to go to it in a bunch. Basically, commingling is the gentleman that wants to do it, him and his brother and family. It's a full-size vault. It'll have two 8-inch tubes coming out of the top. It'll be cut off its surface with extensions the day of a funeral, that they can put their ashes, their loved ones' ashes in it. They're going to come up with a stone that they can put, and it's for future family members. There's nothing big, but there is a letter that Scott Roost or thing that they'll have to sign, who basically, if I was in charge of Arthur at the time of his death, I would have to sign and say it's okay to him be dumped into that commingling ashes. That's the only thing the state requires. If you put in a container or whatever, you don't have to do any of this, but being the ashes are going to be mixed. Okay. It's a simple little form, fill in the blank form that we'll keep on each time it happens. So I've already talked to Mr. Huffer, and we're going to move forward. He's going to come out. We already know price of vault. I've already talked with Akron. We know what we're going to do. So when he's ready, he's going to come out, and then we'll probably start that project. I think it's a good idea. What I need from you 3 is to vote on that. The mayor thought it'd be a good idea just to have that in a vote to go. So if you would like to take that over, Mr.
Okay. Do we want to vote on the commingling project?
Yeah, I entertain the motion that we vote.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So it passes.
Okay, thank you very much. We will continue on. It's not a big one this time. We're just going to go over this year's budget. I had it submitted already to Lynn. I didn't give you guys copies yet. We can go through. If you have any questions, holler. we'll just go through a little bit of it. Nothing really changed real bad. That's this double page here. Basically, we were told to put in a 3.5% raise, was a suggestion this year, which they will vote on down the road here. So that put up, of course, my wage at 3.5. You go through the benefits. If I go too fast, please stop me if you have questions. The benefits show 1.8, but what you need to understand in the medical, from last year's medical to this year, they had us put in 12%. We doubt if it'll be that high, but why it says 1.8 is the budget you currently got last year was based on a 15% increase, and it turned out to be, Charlie, help me, 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was not adjusted, so instead of me trying to confuse and put the deductions from what you saw last year to this year, that's why it says 1.8 instead of 12 with the stuff, because it went down so much. The following year, we may correct that, but I just wanted you to see from budget to budget what was going on. You don't see the corrections on the cuts after we do it in line 1, line 2 cuts, which we do every year. So that's why they may throw a little bit off there at the 1.8. Plus, I have had a new employee, and that changes in the medical. The other one is 22, which is our operating supplies. Basically, that's where our fuel comes out of, along with some oil and different other stuff. And with fuel prices jumping, I upped it $3,000 just to make sure we were okay. If we don't use it, you'll know it'll come in a line 1 or line 2 cut, or a line 2 cut, I should say, if it's approved. So that one I went up. The big drop, if you look at 32 down there, is our communication and transportation, that stuff. That's the fiber optic, the MetroNet, all that. The committee, the IT committee and Joe has decided to put that central, and that'll come out of a budget here at City Hall. So we were able to slash that all, and now all we have to do is buy like parts and pieces. Basically, I'm kind of jumping, but like Bit Computer, stuff like that does it. They're in a contract now with us to be our IT people. So basically, I don't know how that all works. They're working that out, but they have him on a retainer, so we don't pay each time we use him. All we have to do is pay for equipment. It's already in this contract to do, which he's all been through. Most of the cities were just out to me yesterday, and they put all new, we call it spy software or whatever. See, I'm not a computer. Antivirus, thank you. That's the word I'm trying to think of. Just put it on all our computers and make sure we're up. So Brady and Travis, Big Computer's been with us quite a while, with the police and all of us doing stuff. So they just decided through this study or whatever, that they would go ahead and hire them on a retainer to take care of this. So Joe is big on centralizing stuff and like purchases and different stuff and certain things. It used to be when I started, we went out and got our own phone service, we went out and got our own cell service, and so he's grouping some of this together, and that's what he's doing here. It's still an entity that has to be taken care of. It's just coming out of a different fund now. It's all going to be grouped into one fund through the mayor somewhere. I don't know, can't tell you the exact account. So that's why you see that reduced quite a bit. Okay, it's still there, but it's just not going to be an expenditure out of my account. Fleet insurance, that is something Lynn gives me and told me to go up 7%. That's on all my equipment that I have there. Everything else that I haven't spoke about in here has stayed the same. You go to the second page, excuse me, machinery and equipment. I have some in there, so you understand, I have 2 dump trucks that are starting to get age on them, okay? But we're not getting any mileage. So I took one, was gonna take one to Lakeside, maybe I told you this last year. I got to the gate and it had 9,000 miles on the truck. Couldn't really trade it at 9,000 miles. The bed was kind of bad. Damien at the street department, the guys there are great fabricators. They're actually gonna put a new bed, or they're redoing the bed on it. They're gonna put this electric hydraulic lift for me on it. And actually I had money in there to do the one. He didn't wanna buy the bed. He figured they could do it, powder coat it, it'd be better. They're actually gonna be doing both vehicles for around $8,000 to $9,000. To buy a bed or whatever is another $12,000, $13,000. So they're saving me quite a bit of money. They're halfway done with the first one already, welding it up, so getting that all taken care of. So that put my budget down, and this is just, we gotta do a couple mowers and a couple different things, so that's why my equipment is down. And as you look in the total budget, we actually went down 2%, for a total budget this year of $746,167. Questions? I kind of went through quick, but I didn't want to bore you with everything, but please.
Are you wanting us to vote on this?
I do
To approve it?
eventually, but if
Not
there's
today?
questions or they have, no, we
Oh.
will vote. It's already been turned in. But yes, I always like my board to be on board with me. I can always go down, I can't go up.
Right.
That's the name of the game here. So, I mean, please feel free to go over it. If you got any questions or any lines you don't understand. And I'm sorry, guys, I'll let you look at a copy or get you, I didn't make enough for you, for some reason.
Looks pretty straightforward.
Hmm?
Hal, are the budget and the price increases, is that one vote or are those two separate votes?
Two separate ones. We're gonna go over that, we're gonna go over the price increase in just a minute. That's different. This, regardless of what we do with the price, will be next year's budget if it's approved by the council.
Understood.
All that good stuff here. Any
Does anybody have
questions?
any?
No questions? Any questions from you guys? We all good?
Motion to approve his budget? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Looks like you got to your budget.
Okay, after we're over,
You wanted us to sign them last
yeah,
time.
these two. We do have to go over one more, I'm sorry, because that was the main budget. If you would go into, let me finish on, to the third page. That's all right, that's the main budget. This is the perm account, okay? This is the account that was set up a long time ago where half the lot sales goes into it. I'm allowed to do roads, stonework, different stuff out of this budget. This is basically not the tax part of the budget. This is money that's been accumulated, like I say, from half the lot sales. We invest this in two big lump sums. The whole idea is to keep it growing, so if we ever get landlocked, this will take care of the property without revenue coming in, type thing is what it's for. As you can see there, the trees are always in it, the 5,000. I more get to the 4,000 on new trees every year that I plant, so to give you a price, you never know with trees going up, so I have 5. We're going to try to go to the cold storage. We're going smaller. You can see the price difference. I had 88,000 in this year. We're going to a smaller building and hopefully be able to do it for 50,000. Asphalt, I talked about around the new wall. I have that, and I have a little bit more to take care of it. Besides that, and then I have some in there for cold storage. I'm sorry, excuse me, for stonework, part of the small walls we talked about earlier at 25 was down 50. So we're down 4% there at 131,500. So that is the perm budget currently. So you understand, even if the council approves that perm budget, and I have funds tied up where I don't have the revenue for that budget, then we make cuts. Just,
Okay.
it's something we watch really close, and when we try to invest in larger chunks, if you want to call it, for a better interest rate. We currently invest just around $1 million. Is what we invest.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on the perm account? Perm budget, sorry. All right, motion to approve the perm budget? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, your perm budget's approved.
Cool. Okay, so afterwards, if we, I like you to have, it's not required, but I like to
Right.
have my board sign my copy. Like I say, I write to the one copy. And then if you go to the last sheet, and guys, I do have one. I'm really sorry I didn't make, let me find this, and I'll bring it down to, yeah, that's it right there. Excuse me for a minute. look in the left-hand column, it's currently what it is, the right-hand column is what we're going up to. So you understand is this, it was time, as you see at the top, the last time we raised prices was 2015. It is, to me, past time, but that's okay. To raise this, I usually go up with a figure after crunching some numbers and doing some stuff, and then I take it to the mayor for his approval. Sometimes they raise, sometimes they lower. Joe thought this was okay where it was at in his eyes, so he told me to bring it here. What'll happen if you guys okay this on the 19th of this month, it'll go in front of the council for the first reading to see if they approve. And then there's usually, Jerry help me, there's a second reading, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And then it will have to be advertised through these lovely people for 2 weeks before it can take effect. So we're still about a month out. To give you an idea, right now, if you look at the budget, we're just starting into July and we brought in about $115,000. So we're really doing okay for us. Where we're at, if we finish in the 220s, 230s, as you know, my budget is 761. I know I can't meet that, but it's taxpayer money. By going to these prices here, well, from last year's numbers, would give me another $51,000 of revenue in there to help me with my budget. And you gotta understand, that's just going off that year. They're all different, but I just wanted to give you an idea. If in 2020 it would have been, that's what the revenue would have been. I believe these are in line. I mean, Jerry's been here with us a long time ago. They used to have me check with local cemeteries.
Yeah.
It's hard to compare. And I don't mean that meanly, it's just very, very hard to compare. There's not city-owned cemeteries in our area that are as big as we are. There isn't at all. I don't believe these fees are out of line at all. I believe they're real there. We kind of generalized them pretty much. If you look in the cremation lots, you'll see the price adjust. We just opened the third one. 1 and 2 are full. We still have, I'm going to say a couple in 2. The prices were based on the size. We started the cremation garden in 3, which is based on 3 lots, period, that's why we stayed with the 250 and the 300 at those prices. So that lot is a half lot. They'll be able to bury 3 in and can have a full-size stuff. So that's what changed. Most of your baby stuff did not change. The only one that's maybe questionable in your eyes, I don't know, is the third line at the top. Welfare, we went from 200 to 300. I believe we're allowed to go 4. We've never raised this at all since I've been here. It'll be 14 years in July. I went to 3 just because of price of stuff. If you do, I'm getting ready to do one. I've had to give a lot in the opening, which would be around $925, and I get 200 to do that. So I went up 100. We always work with the funeral homes if something happens. So other than that, overtime fees, we went up. The big one is we do not want to bury after 4. It's always been in the rule, we will not. We've had a few push the envelope. That was at 500 setback when I had somebody go past. But with the price now of lots and stuff getting up there, I bumped it to 1,000 because I don't want to promote going after 4. Doesn't mean we're not there till after 4. We want them in the gate before 4. So we can get out of there by 5 or so. So that went up, that's your biggest jump right there. The hourly work related, it's good requested work. We stayed the same at 50 an hour. The deed transfers, we went up, it was for $25, we went up to 75. Reason for that, we're seen a lot of moving. We want to shift and move, and so we went up a little bit more. It creates quite a bit of paperwork, so we went up a little bit there. Foundations went up, concrete's been going up. We have poured roughly 60 already, and I have another 24 framed, ready to pour hopefully next week if the rain holds off for us. So pretty much that's the budget. I'm open for any questions.
Hal, I just want to understand, we're lowering our overall budget, but we're going to be doing a rate increase. What's the, help me connect
Okay,
those two.
So the basic reason in that budget going down is because of Joe's central.
Right, we've moved $14,000 from our
Yeah.
budget to a central budget.
Yeah, to a central budget.
Understood.
He's gonna take, that they're taking it, it's just basically, we were told to reduce it as much as we could, and it would be going through the mayor's budget. So that's your big increase, your decrease right there. Other than that, the reason to go up is just to kind of maintain, I say to take relief off of taxpayers, because that taxpayer money is $761,000, and I don't create that. I mean, I create maybe 200 at the most, that are in around there. And so it's just to be a good steward. I was always told when Elaine Call was, what Lynn did, the clerk treasurer, be a good steward to make the prices. And so we hold off for several years and go up. So, perfect example like this too is a good steward. Should we go up every year? I had somebody suggest that. I said, okay, how about we go up $20 a year? The gentleman was all for it. If you do the math, I'm not high enough here. So the city's gracious enough to hold those prices for so long. So just because of everything going up, concrete, labor costs, different stuff going up, to be a good steward since it's been 2015, I went to the mayor and thought we should raise pricing. This is always something going down, and hopefully, to be honest with you, you'll see this decrease more. When I took over 14 years ago, there was a lot of stuff that needed to be done. Equipment, different stuff like that. We're at the point where now we're just trading and maintaining. I'm trying to do more to beautify the cemetery, and like this the perm budget, I'm hoping next year is like $40,000. So my goal has always been to decrease the spending as I can. But you always have labor costs, you're always gonna have insurance.
Understood.
And that kind of stuff. So it does look a little weird, and we wouldn't have been down if he would have taken all that money away. Medical is something, if you get new employees, which I have one, if they're family plan, it's much more than an individual plan. So that stuff always fluctuates back and forth, depending on how they do. And I mean, I have one gentleman that has 2 children. They're currently not married. I have him in as a family plan. If he decides to say I do, then that be, instead of just what they call EC, employee child, now it becomes family, and it jumps so much. So what I do is if they don't, then I take that in line 2 cut, is what I do. So I don't know if I'm answering your question, but it's, when I started, we went up, and it was like 7, 8 years each time. And so that's kind of what's in my clock to do, and that's why I brought it to his attention to see if he wanted to do it. And he thought it was a good time. So it's kind of odd that we're lowering our budget, but we're doing this. Now, I guess if they centrally locate more stuff and our budget goes down, then there's going to be no reason, if the council is okay with the tax money being used, how much, comes in the revenue. I can't answer that one. It's just really just, I mean, the guys do a great job out there, and I think we offer quite a bit. It's not just a cemetery, it's a park. I mean, we do a lot of stuff, and I do spend money to keep it nice, and so I guess it's just kind of a balance. So if we have more revenue coming in, it's gonna take less taxpayers' money to do it. Yes. So I guess, I don't know if I'm answering you, but I don't have a really good answer.
No, I understand.
Yeah, but I expected the budget to go up 4 to 5%, I really did. But that one big chunk actually in my budget took it down quite a bit for me. And equipment, once again, with equipment being up to stage and the street department helping me out like they're doing. I mean, instead of spending $12,000 to $15,000 a truck to do what I'm doing right now, it's 4. So it's really helped me a lot. Anything else?
I have no more questions.
Feel free. I mean, please, this is your cemetery as much as it is mine. I mean, that we're taking care of. So I have no problem. This has not gone, like I say, has not gone to council. Like I say, the mayor was okay. I have you okay. If that's the case, then I'll proceed. If there's something you think isn't wrong, or isn't right, excuse me, or is wrong, then please let me know.
I think I'm suffering from just a little bit of sticker shock. I mean, I understand the argument, that $20 a year, you've laid that out,
Mhm.
and you are. I get that.
I definitely understand the outside of normal business hours increases. I mean, that's,
Yeah, which, and I don't know if you know the overall picture, and this is not a complaint at all, this is what we do. If we have a funeral come in after 2:30, okay, which there's that 2:30 fee, but they're with 2:30 or 4, by the time they're done talking and gathering, we may not leave till 5, 6. That's why after 4 is such a, it's something I didn't set, it was set before me, it's in your rules, in the Board of Regents rules, that there'll be no funerals after 4. And even the 2:30, I mean, they skate both of them, so you understand, they get the gate at 4, that's great, but we're not gonna be done until they leave and everything's perfect, and, we could be there in a couple hours, yeah.
So instead of the increase, could you just hold a hard line? No burials after 4. We're not.
Not, how do I say this? You could, but remember what we deal with in emotions. Mom breaks down at the casket of her husband and it goes for a few hours. I could.
So in that scenario, though, we would charge them $1,000.
If they got in after 4. We have to do it just financially because I'm paying overtime.
No, I understand. I just, if we're talking about.
And actually, how that rule got in before you, I had a funeral director pretty much do this to me. He came in after 4, he goes, "What are you gonna do?" So I came to the board and asked for some meat if they do that again. So that's
Okay.
where the 500 came in. And I've just bumped it because of the wage. Now, you gotta understand in that after 4, the leniency part, the attorney wasn't Roost, help me.
Valentine.
Yes, put in the language that I can waiver that. So if you've got an out-of-town coming and they get stuck by a train or a wreck or something, I can waiver that fee.
How often does this get applied and waived?
Since I put it in, I've only been tested twice, and after we put the money in, I've not been tested. So
Okay.
the after 2:30, you can see that it's used all the time.
So at $500, nobody's messing with you.
No, and the only reason I bumped it up wasn't to gain extra money, it was because our opening fee and stuff is starting to get up there, and I could see a family saying, what's a couple $100 more? Perfect example, Saturday, there's a Saturday fee, extra, if you do it on Saturday, because they gotta bring guys in.
Yeah.
That after 2:30 fee is still there, okay? So that's another fee.
Mhm.
I literally did an ash funeral at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. Follow me? They wanted to pay all the money and do it then.
Uh-huh.
It's just to promote, to try to do it during business hours. So the 2:30, after 2:30 comes in, and the Saturday fee is always there, and it will always be there. A lot of people, out of town funeral, families and stuff get together, so you do
Okay.
Saturdays.
Yeah.
It's just, the 4 o'clock one is just to be there, just to be a big deterrent, not to come in after 4.
It just seems to me that if 500 is already deterrent enough that no one's tested you, that we don't need to mess with it. Like if you started getting tested and $500 wasn't offering the same kind of sting that it used to, then absolutely, let's bump that up. But if $500 is giving it, if $500 is caused no one to even bother test you on it, I don't understand why move it.
And the only reason, like I say, I did it, when Joe and I talked about this one just a little bit, and the only reason is because the prices are creeping up for lot and opening already. So I can see somebody say, well, we'll just go after 4. The big key is, the Board of Regents rule says no burials after 4, you gotta be in that gate after 4. So it's just a penalty, and I hope never to use it, to
Sure.
be honest with you.
Sure.
So I just wanted to make it look a lot higher than the rest of it, and we can take it down if you guys vote to that, but it's just a deterrent, is what it is.
Sure.
I want to follow that Board of Regents rules. And so far, and the gentleman is gone that tested me, he's not around anymore.
Understood.
Okay. So I'm hoping it never happens. It's not something I'm trying to collect, it's just something, I'm trying to enforce a rule
I get it.
that's in there that has some meat in it. And when you get kind of close to your other fees, I can see people going, well, that's nothing, we'll start coming in after 4. And I don't want that, because then we're gonna have to do something else and enforce that 4 o'clock rule. But if you guys are comfortable with 500, I'm okay with it too.
What about splitting the difference, 750?
Now, to further this, whatever you decide, which is totally fine, goes in the ordinance. If we ever, if say mid-season we're having trouble, that's a whole new ordinance thing I have to go through.
So it's not easily changed?
I
once
can't
it's in
just come to
place?
you guys and say, hey, I want to bump it up 400. This has to be passed by the council, that Jerry's on, has to be read, and it becomes an ordinance. So I'm just giving you the, as you're figuring this out, the whole parameters. It's not that we can't do it, I'm just, and I'm comfortable either way.
Ellen, what do you think?
I would leave it as 1,000.
I kind of got to agree, just because I know how people like to test boundaries and stuff like that, and, you know, your guys want to go home at night and have dinner, and, you know, they don't want to be there if they don't have to.
Right.
And if people are going to start abusing this,
Well, we compete with other cemeteries, more private and whatnot, that aren't city-owned cemeteries. They bury on Sunday, and they'll bury 7, 8 o'clock at night. And like I say, none of that I said. When I came on, the Board of Regents rules was not after 4 and not on Sunday. And trust me, my gentlemen love the not on Sunday rule, or we'd be burying 7 days a week. And this is basically, all that money there is just, I'm not gonna say it's a facade, I mean, it's there to be used if it has to, but it's just a deterrent to back the rule that's in there for 4 o'clock. That's all it is.
so if somebody was, like you said, late or had some kind of extenuating circumstance, you could waive that.
I've waived the 2:30 fee. Out-of-town funeral home got stuck in traffic. It is written, so I can waiver that if I have just cause. This is up to you guys, so I'm sorry, I'm just here answering questions.
I have no more questions.
Are you okay with it? I want you to be okay. I mean, I want everybody to be okay with this. I mean, if you guys need a vote on it, that's okay. I can, because I can change it. That's why I'm here, before it goes to them.
Well, I motion that we vote on it and see where we're at.
This vote just needs a majority to pass, is that
Right.
correct? Okay, that's fine.
I mean, this is a separate, I mean, I need you to okay the whole thing, but if you want to deal with this 1,000, 500,000, do that first, and then vote on all of it, however you want to do it.
So we could table this one for now, or
You can
No.
table
all or
it.
nothing?
Yeah, you can discuss that one, and if you want to change it, then you can okay the budget by change. Follow me?
Yeah.
However you want to do it. Because I'm coming to you guys for approval.
I move to take the price changes to a vote.
Okay.
All in favor of approving them?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Well, passed by majority.
Okay. We will get it submitted to the council. That'll be the 19th. That is actually all I have, unless you have other questions for me.
How, excuse me, how, in regards to the kerfluffle, if you will, that the lot owners had to deal with commingling and everything and attendance, would it be possible, and actually I'll take this to the chair, can we, how easy would it be for us to adopt the online attendance policy that even our city council has, just so that the workings of this council aren't belabored by people who aren't actually able to make it here on a given Thursday?
We can do it.
I would totally agree with
Yeah,
that.
you can. We
Let's-
just never had to, or never,
I'd like to entertain that motion, Chair, if we may, just to adopt that. It really bothers me that these folks, and I'm guilty, I've missed meetings. It bothers me these folks were held by this. Whereas if we had the online chair, we could have simply made sure we had our quorum online. And I think the city council's done a great job of establishing those already. I don't think we need to remake it. We don't need to remake the wheel here, but let's maybe adopt those, and that way, in case Max can't make it or someone else can't make it, they can at least log on and, in that sense, have a full quorum.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that.
Okay, so I'd like to entertain that motion, if you would.
That's up to you guys, and I'm okay with either way. We just never had because of the small board.
Okay, so the motion is that we approve, or that we
I move that we
adapt to the same,
Online.
yes, online attendance.
okay, anybody, or all, sorry, I forgot what it is.
Motion on any discussion?
Any discussion?
Yeah, basically, you honestly don't have to vote on this, you just have to tell me, it's already in place.
Oh, it is?
Follow me?
Let's
So
do
we
it.
don't have to vote?
No, just to
Yes.
help you there a little bit. It's already set up, it's already in place. Al will have to learn, and that's okay, that's the third party,
Yeah.
I will learn. When we addressed this in COVID, we were okay in the distance or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and I was thinking the same thing. Everything's already in place, the council has it in place, it's us just doing it. So if that's what you want, I'll work on it.
And that can be case by case, correct? I mean, in a situation, does that need to be every week it's set
No,
up, or we
what we'll
can?
do is we'll set it up for online every week.
Great.
Because it's all set here.
It's just whether or not we use it each week.
Yeah, I mean, if
Fantastic.
y'all show up, it'll just be on there, but people can come online, I
Yeah.
guess, and do it also. I mean, it's okay.
Yeah.
I will get with Stacy and we'll take care of it. I mean, all the equipment sits right here, so it's all here to do. And I know she'll help me set it up, and that's perfect. Yeah, that way if you get late at work or can't make it on time, you can log on. or
Just,
connect.
again, I just don't want this board to suffer any, or the business of this board to suffer by the fact that some of us can't make it.
In most cases, we are totally fine.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of voting on stuff, it just every once in a while gets to stuff, and like this was something brand new, and then this was something also, and like I say, even though Max wasn't here, I'll make sure Max gets copies of all this, and so he can see what's going on, okay? Because you gotta remember, it can be adopted or whatever, but if there's still issues, I can always go down.
Perfect.
That's
Perfect.
what it's here. This is
Thank
just
you.
top max, if you wanna call it, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
And trust me, I don't get all this money and go, gee, I get to spend it, I don't do that.
Of course you don't.
Do you want us to sign that?
Please, if you would sign, there's two of them here, one's perm and one is regular.
Where do you want it
Just
signed?
up in this area. Yeah, it used to be that the board had a sign, they took that away where it's just my signature. I'd like to have my board sign if they agree with what's going on. Other than that, Mr. President, I have nothing else. Do you guys have any questions? I'm sorry, before we get out of here? Alaska's done, she's ready.
Motion to adjourn?
Seconded. Moved. Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, we'll get that set up for the online.
So is that like normally Teams, or how do you guys do that, Zoom? Some kind of meeting?
You're way over my thing. I believe the one I used was Team Viewer, but I don't know how they have it set up, to be honest with you.
Team Viewer is a remote assistance tool.
Yeah.
How can I take a picture of your budget paper?
You could, yeah,
She can have mine.
there you go. If you, I can print them off. I have one, and if you, does one his?
The budget,
Oh, thank
and
you very
then
much.
you want the
got it?
price increase one too?
And I apologize, I don't know why I didn't print off enough of these.
You're very
All
welcome.
right.
Okay, did you get left column courses last year, the right is the new one? Okay? And it- like I say, this is passed here, but it'll be passed by them. I don't know when we go in front of you. I haven't
don't know
got,
for sure either.
yeah, I don't think they've set that right now. It's in Lynn's hands for them to go over numbers and everything, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you.
Sorry about that, I don't mean to cut you guys out, I just totally spaced it.
That's what he said.
Yeah, I know, I
That's
know.
what he says.
Hal gets a new challenge. I get to learn how to hook all this up, I run all this stuff.
Yeah.
That's okay, there's nothing wrong with it. I thought about it the other day, actually.
I don't have a camera at home on my computer. so-
You know what? I'm so outdated, my computer's at the cemetery, I don't have a camera either. So when we go in meetings with the mayor and stuff, have to get on my phone.
Ah,
But I hooked up my laptop, it's got my laptop, it has a camera in it, so I can go on that one. But I'm sure it's easy to do.
Good job.
See you, man. See you, man.
Oh, there is.
No, are you doing okay? Or that was a good comment, because honestly, when I was coming in today, I thought, why don't they do this? And I mean, I know I'm directionally challenged. but
Yeah,
I hope-
and listen, and I'm happy to,
I mean, I
if you have like a sit down or something, the one that you need,
I just
I'll do
realized I
it.
don't have
Oh,
a
no,
picture
I
of
have
my
all
story.
the,
I think
Stacy,
it's
I
very
have that,
close
I have
for a
everything.
picture.
And it's all sitting there. You know,
Okay,